Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Shellie Live. This is the place where magic happens. I am your host, Shellie Carter, owner and founder of Alder Healing Center, where we provide holistic health for the body, the mind, and the spirit. And we have Darrel Steen back with us. Darrel, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Thank you very much. Good to be here.
You're welcome. I'm really excited about tonight's program and topic. But before we get into the nuts and the bolts of it, I do want to let you guys know, please let us know you're watching. You can put a thumbs up, send us a heart. If you have questions, now is the time to ask your questions. Darrel's going to be looking at what's happening now and into the next 6 months. And so, Darrel, where are we now?
Well, we are on planet Earth. We are made, and
Now I'm going to
reality
say,
is a
that's
big,
debatable, okay?
big deal. Oh yeah, well, the reality is a big deal, and it's staring us all right in the face. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So where we are now is, well, things continue to be very, very difficult. And
Yeah.
I can look at the next 6 months and I can say, I'm not seeing that much that's that positive. Not because of the charts, but because of how we are handling this situation. The chart
Okay.
shows a conjunction that says, for humanity, here is an issue you need to pay attention to. And it's about psychology, it's about reality, it's about the fact that we are all psychological creatures, not so much intellectual ones. And if we cannot step up to our own psychological natures, then there's problems. If we can't agree on reality, airplanes fall out of the sky. It's that serious. So what we have to do is pay attention to reality now. And the
Mm,
reality is this is difficult, but this is the
yeah.
planet Earth. This is what we are here to do, is to make sense of this and to help each other. We are a collective. We live together. We are not a bunch of individuals. Pluto is about intimacy. In a
Yeah.
personal way, it's about intimacy in relationships. But it's also about the fact that we are all intimately connected. Shellie, you and I right now, we're separated by 1,000 miles, but we are
Yeah.
doing something intimate. We affect
Yeah.
each other directly, whether we like to think
Yeah.
that or not. And we have to pay attention to that fact, because if we don't collectively, then we will suffer individually, and we are. So
Yeah.
that's the lesson with this. Step up to your own psychological shortcomings or difficulties, because we all have them. I know that because we're
Yeah.
human. And a lot of the
Right.
difficulties I'm looking at again are not astrology. There's a situation. Oh, there's an example. I got this article here. And it shows a
Yeah.
picture of a chart on fire, and and what
Uh-oh.
it says
Uh-oh.
is blame Pluto. The prominent astrologer Susan Miller placed responsibility for the coronavirus on the distant dwarf planet in March after her earlier pre-pandemic prediction of a great 2020 seemed to miss the mark. If
Huh.
someone didn't see something like this coming, they need to get a new job. Prominent astrologer Susan Miller needs to get a different job. And then it says the fact that astrologers did not see the virus coming hasn't made their practice any less popular. I have been warning people about a big deal that could destroy the country starting
Yeah.
January 12th of 2020. So yeah,
Well,
if
and just
someone
as a
did not,
recap, you and I had been talking about this about a year and a half or two ago, and
yeah,
just about this very time. So,
mhm,
yeah.
yeah. And I really thought that the trashing of the Constitution was enough. In fact, the United States is having what's called its Pluto Return, and it's about every 250 years of any civilization. There can be this up or down cycle, and if a culture does not choose to go into the future, they have to stay in the past and experience a steep decline. Well, we did that. 2016, Pluto was rediscovered, and when we discover a new planet, like 1930, when Pluto was discovered, the Great Depression. That is when there was, and here we are again. And Pluto was rediscovered in 2016. And since we do not pay attention to psychology, which really can be, most of the problems we have can be traced right back to not dealing with ourselves as psychological creatures. When we look at
Hmm.
mental illness as we do cancer, we'll start to come out of a lot of the problems we have in the world. But not until then.
Hmm.
And this is like a forced psychological thing. People are being forced to pay attention to their own psychological stuff because what we're
Yeah.
here to do. And if we don't do it, we get forced into it. And that's usually pretty painful. And when Pluto's in someone's chart individually, it's the idea that intimacy forces psychological growth, and also
Hmm.
that we all are programmed in a certain way to believe certain things when we're young, and we grow up and we realize the world is not that way, and there's this
Right.
violation of expectations as we have to rethink and redo, be deprogrammed from certain beliefs, and that's sometimes painful. But some people having
Well,
big
that kind of
Pluto
brings
transits
me
don't
to
have
like
that
one
big
of
of
the things we were talking about earlier with Christopher Columbus, and
yeah.
how some people think that astrology is kind of like that woo woo thing, but it really is solidly based on science. And if Christopher Columbus or any of the explorers or travelers didn't use the stars and the sky as a way to navigate, we
Yeah.
wouldn't know half the things that we know, and people would
Yeah,
still
they
be
fall
thinking
off the
that
end
the
of
world
the
is
earth if they
flat
didn't.
instead of round.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's and that's what we have to do is pay attention to reality. And
Mhm.
again, astrology, we plant by the zodiac. Our seasons are based on the solstice and the equinoxes. And if we don't pay attention to that, cultures don't survive. If we don't plant our crops it's that basic. If we don't plant our crops at the right time, civilization falls apart. So it's
Yeah.
that basic. Astrology is about our place in nature, which is something
Mm.
our culture does not do well, which is why another reason why we're having so many
Mm.
problems is we think that we're outside of nature. Oh my God. That's stupid. Sorry, but
Well, I'm glad I went for my nature walk today.
yeah. That's always important. Always that kind of stuff. Mhm.
So one of the things that has been brought up about the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, and so I'm just kind of curious because as we get into conversations of right, wrong, black, white, good, bad, and that
Yeah.
type of thing, what
Mhm.
what would you like to say about that?
Yeah, we have to deal with reality. The reality of this is that this is not a political issue. This is not an us against them issue. There are
Yeah.
Republicans, there are Democrats, there are independents, there are other, and there's also people in all that spectrum that can ignore reality. They don't have to be a Democrat or Republican to ignore reality, and that's the problem. To put this in a
Mm.
political context is to miss the mark so far that we are going to absolutely destroy ourselves. We're trying to turn the clock backwards and trying to make it like it was. Oh no, that won't work. And like I said, this is not a political thing. It's more certain groups gravitate towards this looking at the world in a fantasy than
Yeah.
others, but we all can do that. We all sometimes don't look at reality. I wish things were different in some ways, but they're
Mm.
not. And we all butt
Yeah.
heads against reality from time to time because the world isn't the way we thought it should be. But we
Right.
have to come around to reality. And that's what this is. This is
Mhm.
not a political issue. What we have now is a moral issue. Because those people in this situation that are not paying attention to reality are death dealing. It's that
What do you
serious.
mean?
This is life and death.
What do you mean by that? What do
I
you mean
mean
by
that
death
people that will
dealing?
not follow the well, that mean the people that don't pay attention to the reality of what a virus is and what it isn't can spread it blatantly. People that don't
Yeah.
wear masks, people that don't follow the protocols are spreading it to other people. They're spreading it to you and me, to our kids. And this is life and death. This is like someone drinking and driving. If you can't, emote some, it is that serious. And how do we know what is right? How do we know what reality is? I mean,
Mhm.
authoritarian people, politicians, all throughout history, this is a very common thing. They put out propaganda and it makes people confused about what reality is. And that's how they stay in
Mhm.
power because they're
Mhm.
confusing everybody. And we can see it right now. Go back in history. Just a simple history lesson will show that. But it is an
Yeah.
educated public that can be the counter to that. And how do we
Yeah.
educate ourselves? People say, there's so much online. I don't know this. I don't know that. It's called triangulation. You get several different sources and you see what the middle is. You go from one
Mm-hmm.
extreme to the other, and you have to study.
Mm-hmm.
You have to use the brain God gave you. And if you
Yeah.
don't, that's the ultimate sin. So, yes, there
And
is a
that's where
way
the
to get at
problem.
the truth and facts. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
that's really where the problem comes in because so many just trust what they're being told and they see these like I've been seeing these clips of Obama on one side and Trump on the other side and Obama saying one thing, Trump saying another thing, but there's snippets and clips. So how do you know what's real or what's really being said and then what's being left out?
Yeah.
And so it leads me to beg the question of what is really the truth. And I love what you
Yeah.
said earlier when we were talking about, being discerning and like God gives us different gifts to be able to discern what the truth is in the matter, no matter what the media says, or no matter what the president says, or no matter what the doctors say. It's like
Right.
we have all that information within ourselves.
Yeah, it's like paying attention to your own health or being a part of your own health care. You don't just blatantly say what the doctor says. You have to study it and learn about it. And people that do that do better with any kind of
Mm-hmm.
illness. And also about it, like
Mm-hmm.
Obama and Trump. Obama is a known quantity. Trump is a known quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Which one would you choose to handle a life-threatening? Would you trust Trump to do the right thing, or would you trust Obama to do the right thing? I would trust any other Republican candidate, any other person. A box of rocks could do better than Trump's doing. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm
How
going
do
to
you really
pause you
feel?
for
Huh? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Let me know how you really feel, okay? So I'm gonna pause you for a moment and say, tell me something good.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Tell me.
Yeah, something good. This is going to make people turn towards the psychological and spiritual side of life. Not everybody, but there's going to be more
Mhm.
people after this, and even now, who are searching for some answers. So there's going to be people after, starting in January, actually, looking at the charts. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people in my world, that are part of my astrology group, so to speak. And I've been talking to a lot of people. I want to talk to as many people as possible about this so I can get an overview from different parts of the country or the world. And everybody that's on the side of this psychological, spiritual thing are having really good influences beginning in January. Now, I
Mm.
don't know if that means a
So is
vaccine.
there
I don't know
something
what that
about the month? Is there something about the month of January that would have it be that way? Or what do you
Oh, yeah, Uranus stations and goes direct. It's like the January 12th thing of 2020. That was the point where I said that's the point where there is this turnaround. And there's another one coming up in January. In the meantime, there are a couple of critical points where if we don't do the right thing, it will go very badly. And I don't have
Mhm.
any faith that our leadership now will do the right thing. Not because I'm
Mhm.
biased in that regard, because look at the history. Just look at
Yeah.
relevant past history, and you can really
Yeah.
know what's going to happen. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like for example, knowing that this was going to be difficult if Trump was elected. A psychology student in high school could see that he was mentally ill, and so I mean, it's obvious. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I'm
Okay,
predicting
I
difficult stuff
I didn't
because
hear
of
that.
yeah, yeah. Oh well, he's meant. I mean, narcissism. I mean, come on, this is so easy to see. It's a mental illness where someone can't face reality. He said, "I'm the only one that can lead you out of this. I'm a scientist. I'm a teacher. I can do this. I know this." No, he doesn't. Come on. And anybody that believes him in that regard, you need to get checked too. Anybody that says I'm the only one, oh my God, run
Yeah.
for the hills because no one has the answers. No one person. We all have a piece of the puzzle, and for one person to
Yeah.
say I have the answers, no, that is wrong. And someone that would follow someone like that,
Mhm.
no, no,
Mhm.
that's mental illness. Hmm. And people
The
that don't follow
smell
the rules don't
something
follow the
good.
laws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, and there are consequences for not. It's like, if we follow the rules of aerodynamics, we can fly. But if we don't, we crash and burn. And
Right. Right.
and there
Right.
are people that don't believe we can fly. There are people that believe the Earth is still flat. That's okay for them, but good Lord, don't put them in office. Don't make it a policy, for God's sake. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's stay off the Trump bandwagon here.
Yes,
And what
please
else do
do. Yeah,
you
I could go on and on. Yeah.
yeah. So what else do you see for us as we the people for I know you're talking about January and 6 months out.
Yeah, January is when things turn around. And I don't know, as I say, it turns around, but in a lot of ways, it depends on what we do. If we're still going
Yeah.
to allow the drunk driver to drive in January, well, it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
turn around. But see, what I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
with even no matter what happens politically with the election and all of that, there are people now that are turning individually towards that which is psychological and spiritual. And it's our
Mm-hmm.
duty and our responsibility as people on that side of the equation to help those people.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be lighthouses in the middle of this storm. We can't stop the
Yeah.
storm and we can't save everyone. And I'm not saying we have the answers, but we understand that there are many, many kinds of answers. We understand that the universe is vast and there are many ways to experience it. We understand that none of us have the answers. No one knows what's really going on here, but collectively we can. And if we don't
Yeah.
act collectively, which is what Pluto wants us to do, because we are all intimately connected. We're breathing the same air people breathed in China. We are connected. And if we can't see that, yeah, so that's the deal. We need to think of ourselves as being a social species. We are. If we
Yeah.
weren't, we wouldn't have survived. So we have
Yeah.
to
I think one of
use our brains,
the
look at
one of
facts.
the big
Yeah.
yeah. One of the biggest
Mhm.
questions that I get is and I'll be talking about this on my podcast that I'll be recording shortly. And it has to do with how do I know I'm here? Because like in the world of esoterics or metaphysics and
Mhm.
energy and spirituality and religion, it's like,
Yep.
there's prophets and messengers that bring messages to people. And
Oh yeah.
how do you know that what you're hearing is the truth, or how do you know what to trust? And so what I'm finding is people are more in an exploration of really wondering who they are, what their gifts are, what's next for them, what's the next
Mhm.
direction, what's the next step.
Yeah. And the only way to find that is, again, like I said, through triangulation. You get multiple different sources and you combine them, you compare them, you discern what works for you and what doesn't. And if one side's saying one thing, one's saying another, there's somewhere
Mm-hmm.
in the middle, probably. You get triangulation means three, not one and two, it means three or more. You get a bunch of
Yeah.
different opinions. Two heads are better than one, and three can see a reality that two can't, and one certainly can't. It's like the three guys
Yeah.
describing what an elephant is. One guy's holding a leg, they're blind. One guy's holding a leg and says an elephant is a tree trunk. The other guy's holding the trunk and he's saying, oh, an elephant is snake-like. Another guy's holding the ear. The elephant is like a big leaf. They're all
I
right,
love this
but
analogy.
individually they're
Yeah.
all wrong. Individually they're all wrong.
But you pull
Triangulation,
them together,
right?
then you've got your elephant
Three,
or more of an
three
elephant.
or more. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
So we're
why.
going to
Well,
take a
anyway, I could go on
break.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back. So, if you'd like to learn how to learn more about how these products work, please reach out to me. You can call us at 630-328-3928. They are all their products are using all full spectrum parts of the cannabinoid plant or the hemp seed, which has zero THC, and they have a cream and lotion that I do not live without. I just love it. So go to kemp.com to order, and you can use my sponsor number, which is 689426. So that's kemp.com, and order number is, or sponsor number is 689426. And Meditation by Design has been everything and amazing. We've got such a great group of people who are joining us. It's been before and after we have time for chatting. So come bring your journal, your pens, your markers, something you want to work on, or if you just want to come de-stress, find some peace, healing, and relaxation. Join us Friday nights at 7 p.m. It's for about a half an hour. We have been working on the different levels of the chakras, and we are working on we're on chakra number 3, which is your solar plexus. And I'm really, really excited because the feedback that I've been getting from people and what's showing up for them and the healings that are occurring have been everything and amazing. So we are Facebook Live tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mark your calendars, set your clock. We'll see you then. And also, I have resurrected. Yes, folks, it's finally here. Basic Energy 101. We have our beta class starting June 6th. It is a 4-week program. It is for practitioners and for anybody who senses or wants to have a better understanding of the world around you. If you're a practitioner and you'd like to increase your innate gifting abilities, improve your revenue stream and consistency with your clients. If you're not a practitioner and you feel like you're having a lack of energy, just really struggling through this time, you're wondering what's next in your life. Maybe you experience things and you just can't explain or discern what they are and you're looking for answers. This is a class for you. It will start on Saturdays, June 6th from 9 a.m. to 10:30. For details, please call the office or you can email us at info@alderhealingcenter.com. We'd love to have you join the class. This is going to be a virtual class, which is why it's a beta class. Normally, I teach it in person, and since it's not going to be an option with the 6-foot rule for a while, we're teaching it virtually. And it's so great to see what everybody gets out of the class for themselves personally, and just how it affects the environment around us. And like Darrel and I were saying, it's like us working as a group, us working as a conglomerate is what's going to help heal the world and have things be better for us in our future. And so, Darrel, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
So what do you have going on?
Well, this idea of back to the idea of this, why we are being isolated, why we have this time period. We're all going through a collective Pluto transit. And these times when you can't do what you want to do, you can't do what's normal, it's an excellent time to do things like meditation, to explore ideas that you could not before in your other world. It's a time to ask, why do I feel the way I do? Why do I have, because there's a reason for it. We're not just, so it's an opportunity to do soul searching, to learn new things. We have these computers. My God, we have the world at our fingertips. We can learn new things. We can become involved with things we could never have before. Use this time to explore your humanity, your emotions, your psychology, and that's the way to deal. That's what we're supposed to do. Anytime someone has a Pluto transit, that's what you're supposed to do. It goes back to this idea. Pluto is about intimacy. Intimacy in a relationship, for example. Intimacy forces your psychological growth. That definition of intimacy isn't about someone else. And the example is this. I can take charts and make a compatibility, take 2 charts and mix them up and have a third chart that shows the relationship as an individual, and it will show the
Yeah.
strengths and weaknesses. And I like to do those, but they do not tell the whole story, because you can have the best compatibility on paper in the world.
Yeah.
But if one or the other individuals will not step up to their own psychological inadequacies, and we all have them, a relationship,
Hmm.
a one-to-one relationship will not work. That's what it takes
Yeah.
to make them work, is for you to step up to your own deficiencies. That's it.
Yeah.
It
Well,
sounds harsh. It sounds.
I find
Mhm.
too that in relationships, oh my God, they're such great mirrors for us. So the things that irritate us about the other person, a lot of times we need to be looking at the mirror, because that's the area we need either healing or strengthened for ourselves.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Your intimacy forces psychological growth, but your partner actually is the worst therapist because they're too close. So, so it's a matter of paying attention to what you are feeling. What am I contributing to this problem in a relationship?
Mm,
What have I been contributing to the problems in the world? How can I stop contributing to the problems and step up and do the right thing? And that is, pay
yeah.
attention to your own psychological, I say, deficiencies or whatever, because again, as we grow older, we evolve in this lifetime. We evolve in several different ways over the course of a lifetime, and we have to leave behind the old ideas, and it's sometimes it's about death and rebirth. All things come to an
Hmm.
end, and so we have to, like,
Hmm.
we have to leave stuff behind. It's that's the way of the world. Everything dies. In fact, that's what happened in 1930 also. We discovered that all the galaxies are moving away from each other, which means even the universe had a birth, and that means it will have a death. So it's built into the system. And our current
Hmm.
philosophy about death is the end. Oh, that's terrible. We're all going to fail at that. So Pluto is also a 248-year cycle. It's trying to get us to see that this is not all there is. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, are you actively doing, I don't want to call them readings. What would you call it? Are you actively offering chart readings for people,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah. I'm still doing that. That's
what?
what I do. That's what I do for a living, is readings.
Yeah.
They pay the rent. So if I don't do readings, I'm not having a place to live. But also I'm doing
Yeah.
this. I want to talk to as many people as possible. There is an educational opportunity in this for astrologers, for everybody, that if we delve into the deeper side of life, oh my God, that opens up so many more things, because if you become more psychologically aware, you'll be more
Yeah.
effective with your career and your home and your kids. And we become our own worst stumbling blocks. And this is an opportunity for us to delve into that. It's like therapy. Well, no, it is therapy. It is psychotherapy. And just
Yeah.
lamenting what was will not do anybody any good, because everything passes away. Let's figure out what to do now and what to do in the
Mm,
future. Let the past
mm,
go, because there is a
hmm.
new future, and it can be really good. But we have to step into it consciously.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hear a lot of people wanting to go back. I want to go back to the way things were, is what I hear often. And it's like, okay, it's just not going to happen that way.
That's
And
right.
so it's looking outside the box, so to speak, to going within and looking outside the box to see what is really there. And I think one of the things that's also happening is, at least with my clients, they're actually finding their own innate gifts. They're what they were really born to do and what they're here to do.
Yes. I'm finding that also. People are saying, I've always wanted to do this, and now I can.
Yeah.
Well, Pluto gives us the idea that this, if you were told you had a year to live, would you
Hmm.
continue on the same old path?
Only if I
Yeah.
was into pain.
Yeah. Well, and some people think that's what life is about. I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way things are. Oh, yes, you can. That's a
Yeah.
cop out. Because if you
Yeah.
do that psychological work, you will understand that your feelings are created by your actions, your habits, what you believe, and they can be changed. The idea is if you did your laundry every day or every Tuesday at 6 o'clock for a year, and the next Tuesday comes along at 6 o'clock and you're not doing your laundry, you will feel like you're doing something wrong. Are you?
Mm,
You know, I mean, look at people like you.
mm.
You drive the same way. You park at the store. You park in the same parking spot. In church, people sit in the same place. And boy, you don't sit in other people's places. We're creatures of habit. And then we can think habits become our feelings. There's a fake it till you make it. I don't feel like doing this. But if you do it repetitively, you will begin to feel like doing it. Even if it's something
Yeah.
that right now would seem like, I don't want to do that. That's not me. I don't feel that way. You can learn to feel that way. You are not
Hmm.
set. Yeah. That's the opportunity here.
Yeah. Well, we have a few people that are saying hello, and one is my daughter. So Nicole says hello to you. She says,
Hey,
"When can
Nicole.
I come home?" She's saying, "When can I come home?"
Oh, I don't remember off
Mommy
the top of
says
my head. We talked about
yesterday.
yeah, yes, yeah, not soon enough. And yeah, but yeah, we talked about that and not soon enough. But see, again, this is the opportunity for you, for anybody that's in that situation, again, to
Hmm.
analyze what they're feeling. And sometimes we
Hmm.
figure it out, but we still have to stay with it's like sitting at a traffic light too long. You can figure out what's wrong, but you still have to sit there for a while because reality, time and space take time
Yeah.
to manifest. We are
Yeah.
limited by the laws of physics, by the laws of time and space. And once we get in a
Hmm.
situation and we realize, oh, I'm not supposed to be here, sometimes it just takes time to get out of it. So we
Yeah.
have to be patient, learn patience. I don't think we ever
Oh,
learn patience. It's just something we
the
endure
the the
until
P
we get
word.
yeah, yeah. So soon, Nicole, soon you'll be able to go home. Soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Darrel, thank you for being on the program today. And are there
Oh,
any
thank you
last
so
words
much.
for time just flies?
Yeah, yeah.
Flies.
If anybody wants to talk about this, I am like I said, I am told. This is where I live. This is something that is so important to me. The learning opportunity in this. So I'll talk to anybody. Email me
Yeah.
at my website. Let me know if you want to talk about this. I'll do everything I can. Like I said, and I do when I do reading for somebody. I do updates for free. I talk to people sometimes 3 or 4 times a year at no
Yeah.
charge because I want to know what happens. When I do a reading for somebody, I'm telling them stuff I already know. I want
Yeah.
feedback. I want to know what happens. That's my continuing education. So I encourage, and that's part of the reading. I don't charge extra for updates. And sometimes when people are having real bad Pluto transit, I'll talk to them once every other week for a while. I mean, it's whatever's
Yeah.
needed. I'm there.
So
I've
what
been
is
doing
your
this since I
website?
was
How do
16
people
years
reach
old.
you?
Darrel Steen Astrology.com. And it's
Can you
Darrel,
spell that?
Darrell, Steen. And that's the right way to spell Darrel, Darrell.
Oh, okay. Well, folks, if you've been spelling it any other way, you've been corrected.
You're wrong. And I should know. Yeah, we all do it. We all do it.
So thank you again so much for being on the
Thank you
program.
very much.
I'm Shellie Carter, owner of Alder Healing Center. We pride ourselves in assisting you on your journey to health, well-being, happiness, and joy and peace. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow night on Meditation by Design. Sunday is coffee tea with you and me with my daughter Nicole. So to find out more information, please give us a call at 630-328-3928. And we look forward to seeing you. Hey, wait a minute. June's just around the corner. We're starting to see clients. So give us a call so we can get you in. 630-328-3928. And we'll see you real soon.